respected Madam Chancellor, Madam Vice Chancellor, Chief Guest of the Day, other dignitaries on the dais, the proud graduating members of the batch of 2022, your proud parents, all the faculty of this institution, a very good morning to all of you. About 1.2 million doctors are in this community. About 10 million allied health professionals, nurses are in this community. If you put all of us together, we are like one greater Chennai. That's the number of people, about 12 million people take care of the healthcare needs of about 1.4 billion population. So we all have a very significant responsibility. We have not come into this profession. We have come into this profession knowing very well that this is a platform that is given to very few. Select few are able to come into this profession, and you're all right in the brink of graduating now, and you're all entering the fraternity. So at the beginning, I would like to welcome you all into this fraternity. It's very important for you to realize that from today, you're going to be one more professional who is joining this fraternity. Let's keep the dignity and decorum of this field, as 1.4 billion people of this country look up to us and depend on us for their well-being. Health is not a very easy subject, as each one of us know, right? You have gone through two interesting paradigms in the last 10, 15 years. One is the pandemic, which happened recently. In the last 2 years, it has changed the course of the world. What could have taken about 2 to 3 decades took place in 2 years. A lot of families lost one of their family members. We all read about the crisis in healthcare, the lack of oxygen crisis, lack of bed crisis, the political uncertainty that brought in. So there are tremendous challenges, and all of us have witnessed that. Once you witness something like that, that kind of a turmoil, even though it does not touch you personally, it changes the DNA of this whole earth. All of us, all our DNA is changed with the, as they say in America, the society or the population that went through depression, they had the DNA of depression in their gene. They'll be very hesitant. Your parents would have that, your grandparents would have that. They'll be very hesitant to spend even 1 rupee or 2 rupee. They'll be very conscious. Whereas many of you will have a cell phone which is like an Apple phone or Apple 13 or whatever edition. Your father might have a very ordinary Chinese phone. Your grandfather might have an old Nokia phone. So it all comes because they preserve the DNA, the difficulties, the challenges that they have gone through. And this generation of ours, or especially yours, you have gone through this pandemic, which will, I hope it doesn't leave a scar, but it leaves a lesson, a very deep lesson that the role that we as medical people play in this world is very insignificant, irreplaceable. That's why population gets very angry with us, very upset with us. They say doctors have become greedy, but at the same time, they also put us on a pedestal. So it's very important for us to keep doing things that people will have more faith and more trust on us. I'm sure graduating from this wonderful university, I can't expect anything less than that from this graduating class. The second point I wanted to touch is, you're also graduating into a very interesting world. The world is not the same place about 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. This world is a very different place, and it's going to be very different in the next 5 to 10 years. Why am I saying that? This is a world of social media. I'm sure you're all watching television and all these reels and all that, right? TikTok videos and all that, right? So, you'll be surprised. Earlier, education used to be success, right? That's how we have seen. ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு படிக்கணும், எல்லாம் மார்க் வாங்கணும், அப்போ ஒரு நல்ல காலேஜுக்கு போக முடியும், நல்ல வேலை கிடைக்கும், நல்லா இருக்கலாம், நல்ல மாப்பிள்ளை கிடைக்கும், நல்ல பொண்ணு கிடைக்கும், செட்டில் ஆகலாம், பிள்ளைங்களை நல்லா படிக்க வைக்கலாம். That is the trajectory of growth. Today, that's not the trajectory of growth. Today, there is another trajectory of growth that only takes your skills and talents. If you're skillful, if you're talented, the world is your stage to play. And we're seeing it repeatedly, right? I'm sure you've seen this Sinhalese girl who sang that song, right? About 30 million views or 100 million views. I'm not sure what happened, how many views it had already garnered. So an 18, 19-year-old girl is able to sing a song in a small town in Sri Lanka, and the world gets enamored. Amitabh Bachchan puts it in his, retweets it, and then the world starts seeing it, and it reaches millions of people. The reason I'm sharing this is, as medical fraternity, whoever you're graduating in this field, The field is wide open. Medical fraternity is very hierarchical. You have to grow with the hierarchy. You become a tutor, assistant professor, professor. Even in a hospital, you have senior people, junior people. Today, the game is changing. There is tremendous disruption that is happening. I am from ophthalmology. I am an eye doctor. The way we do surgery today may not be the way people will do surgery tomorrow. The good surgeons tomorrow are going to be the best video game players of today. Because it is the skill, it is your nimbleness in your fingers, because you're not going to touch the patient. The robot is going to touch the patient. So it's going to be a very different world that you're graduating in. So one good news is it's a equal field. Enna sir, na doctor aite, enga appa amma doctor illa, enga nurse aite, yarume enak support illa. Appadilla varthapada vendiya avasiyame illa. Ipo irukkudiya kaalakattathila, because the world is wide open. There was a time when good memory was a big advantage of being a good student and a good doctor or a good nurse or a good everybody. Memory is important, but today Google has multiple times memories than you can ever have in a lifetime. So your memory is not going to be your strength. So what else is going to be your strength? Your flexibility, your nimbleness, your imagination, and your ability to leverage all these newer ecosystems that are available for you. There are two things to medicine. One is art of medicine, how you practice medicine. The other is the business of medicine. The business of medicine is going to explode. Everybody is looking at it, right? Imagine there was a time when all of us, you wouldn't have taken it, in my generation and the generation before, the number of phone numbers you knew was very important. That said who all you are in touch with. Today you don't have to remember your own phone number. Your cell phone does it very well, right? All your activities are all compressed into a small cell phone. So I challenge you all, I welcome you all, put India on the map. Today's India, the entrepreneurs of India, I was reading an article recently, about a couple of days ago. They said, this is the first time Indians are thinking the world is their stage to play. This is not the first time, they are wrong. This institution's founding community, they were the globalization leaders about 150 years ago. They went and established mercantile businesses in Malaysia, those days Rangoon, all over the place. So we have to reinvigorate ourselves. The Chola kings went to all over the place. They went to Thailand, they went to Cambodia, they established phenomenal infrastructure there. You have phenomenal temples that they have built in different places in Cambodia. So it's very important for you to realize, don't restrict yourself to one job or the job that you think is important. If you enjoy being a doctor, if you enjoy being a nurse, please be one. I am a doctor. I enjoy being a doctor. I enjoy being able to touch a patient and heal. To me, it's a blessing. If that is what you enjoy, please do it. If you also enjoy that, I want to be part of the technology in healthcare. Please be part of the technology in healthcare. I want to be part of something else in healthcare, the pharmacology business or pharmacology aspects of healthcare, or any field that you choose. So don't think that you've become this, you've graduated here, you have to only do this from now on. The world is open. As I said earlier, if the 18-year-old Sinhalese girl can do that, I'm sure each one of you is as smart as her or as lucky as her, so that you'll also be able to get whatever you want. The other important thing, which is, I'm not an expert in technology, as you can know, I'm more of a doctor, but this metaverse, I'm sure you all heard, right? The Facebook has changed its name to Meta, and Microsoft has made an acquisition of $67 billion a couple of days ago in the field of metaverse, some gaming company. So metaverse, from what I understand, my limited understanding, is going to change the way we do everything. Like how Instagram has changed the way we do everything. Emails have changed. Emails is pretty old now. Nobody talks about emails, maybe. That's my generation of change, I guess. So it is maybe your WhatsApp, your other communication tools, which are already in place. Even Facebook is old, right? So it's very interesting to see how technology evolves. So this is going to be a great field for you. So I'm sure many of you will become game changers in the field of healthcare. And I really wish this university gets the pride that one of you becomes a Nobel Prize winner, one of you becomes a unicorn owner who is able to start something phenomenally large. So that's about the business side of healthcare. That's about the economics of healthcare. There is another side to healthcare. If you look at all forms of work, Now, anybody does any work, there are three forms of work. One is physical labor. You would see somebody here who is taking care of the garden, who is plying the tricycle up and down. They are all using their physical body, physical energy to make a living. That's one form of living. A farmer, who does something, a driver who does it. The second form of it is cerebral. Somebody who is in the IT field, somebody who works in a lot of other technology fields. It's very cerebral, right? Very intellectual. They use their brain, not physical activity. That's why they say you're sitting on a chair or stool for a long time. You better start walking or exercise and things like that. There is a third kind. Only very few professions have that third kind, which is the visceral part or from the heart. Teachers should do that, obviously. Your father and mother do that. For your father and mother, you are not an economics project. They are not looking at you to graduate and feed them. Just you graduating itself is something phenomenal for them. They have more pride in you than what you have in pride for yourself, right? All the people here can't have as much pride as your parents have on this particular day. So compared to all these three forms of work, working with the heart of a person, working through your heart is a very important. Health is a very touchy subject, a very emotional subject. When a kid in the family falls sick, it's not only the kid's parents suffer. The kid suffers, obviously. The parents suffer. Both grandparents suffer. The entire family starts suffering. It is very painful to see the family. And imagine if you are the nurse or a doctor who is able to offer solace to that individual, that kid. You're not only offering solace to that kid, you're not only helping that kid, you're helping the entire family to get into a different paradigm. So remember, every time you touch a patient, every time you take a decision as a healthcare provider, remember always, it is not physical, it is not your mental, your cerebral aspect alone. There is also a visceral aspect. You have to feel from your bottom of your heart. You have to feel that whatever I do, you can't say I was tired, or I made a small mistake, I was tired. You can't afford to be tired. Not in this profession. If you're tired, please don't do it. That's okay, not to do it. Not to play the game is okay. Everybody understands. You're not well today, I'm not doing well. But if you're careless, that's not pardonable. Imagine if your father was on the surgical table and if someone says, I didn't have a good day. But that not a good day might be the bad day for one of your parents or any one of us. So it's important for you to realize that you're in a great profession. I'll end with a quote. Intelligence and capabilities are not enough. Please hear it. Intelligence and capabilities are not enough. There must be a joy of doing something beautiful. This profession is all about the joy of doing something beautiful. I welcome you all into this fraternity. Please enjoy the joy of doing something beautiful. Thank you.